Hi there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for making the time to watch this video. I don't take it for granted at all. Now, if this is the first time of watching any of my videos, I don't know what you've been doing online. Somebody needs to seize your phone. But of course, you're welcome. You're not too late to the party. There's still food. Alright, so I like to keep these videos very short, very simple, minimal drama, no swearing. Of course, I can't promise you absolutely no drama. Alright, so let's get into it. Earlier this week, I was listening to... Okay, so there's this artist. He goes by the name King David. Sorry. It's not King David. King David Bow. King James, yes, on Instagram. And I love his rap. He did I don't know if it's an entire track, but Sha song, rap. And it was saying in it how that the truth ain't a truth if you decide. And further down in that number he said these words, if you decide what truth is and I decide what mine is and your truth is a lie to me, then what is the truth then? Those lines really resonated with me. If everybody gets to decide what their own truth is, then at the end of the day, probably every one of us will be lying, right? Because if your truth is a lie to me and my truth is a lie to you, then everybody might just be lying. And it kind of brings me to the point that I really want to make today. Truth and honesty are like brothers. They flow together, but there is also such a thing, which is a completely different stream entirely, as gracelessness. I was listening to, I listened to quite a lot of people online. Priscilla Shara, you probably know her from War Room, yeah, that preacher. She was saying how that kindness is underrated. She was saying that because there were quite a number of comments and stuff that were thanking her or just, appreciating her and all of that. And she was saying how that those things always touch her. As much as she's a celebrated person, as much as she has a lovely family and all of that, people will really love her. It's also nice for her to get comments, from people who are strangers on Instagram and who appreciate her and say so. And she was saying how that kindness is kindness is underrated, and graciousness as well is underrated. And that brings me to the topic of gracelessness. There is a way that we humans love to receive grace from God. However, when it comes to our fellow humans, we quickly forget that grace is a thing that doesn't just flow horizontally, or rather, no, please vertical. That grace is not just something that flows vertically from God to us. That grace flows also between humans and amongst humans. I recall watching a video, Plantation Boys, yes, Plantation Boys. They did a bit of a performance at a tribute night that was held in honor of Sound Sultan. The moment it was announced that Plantation Boys was going to be performing, I was like, what? What? That's something. For 90s kids, that is something. I mean, I personally, I do not recall seeing Plantation Boys together to face. I do not recall seeing them together performing anywhere in the last, 20, 25 years or more. And I remember the track that FaZe did, where he was saying, be crime to say what you want to say. You can do what you want to do. Only heaven knows say I love you. Oh, my brother, you need to change your attitude. I hope I still got it right. And all of that. And then he was saying, heaven knows he has nothing against him. Like, bruh, please, only heaven. What do you mean? When you love somebody and you tell them the truth, everybody knows that you're coming from a place of love. But you're now saying that only heaven knows that you love him. It's not only heaven. We know what is going on. We can see it. And so when certain people come under the guise of speaking the truth, speaking their truth, being blunt. My personal favorite. People say that and I'm like, what do you mean you're blunt? What do you mean you're blunt? Please. And people come under the guise of all these expressions. I'm honest, I'm blunt, I speak the truth, just to bash other people, to put other people down, to destroy other people's image, to say things that it may not necessarily be correct, or at the very most things that sound like the truth to them alone. But the moment you bring in the other person, the person goes, that's not exactly how I remember it. And then the person's truth too is different. And so that just brings everyone back to the topic of the truth. What exactly is the truth? What exactly is the truth? And so for me, personally, the point I'm trying to make is, what may seem like the truth to you, which may be intended to pull down the other person, to bash the other person, to make the other person seem like, yeah, she's always the one in the wrong, or he's always the one in the wrong. That truth may not necessarily be the truth. And so that is why you do not come under the guise of honesty, under the guise of truth, to be completely and absolutely graceless. Completely and absolutely graceless, forgetting that there is such a thing as graciousness towards other human beings. When you're expressing yourself, when you're sharing your hurts with other people, we must always remember that the truth, they say truth isn't relative. Truth is supposed to be truth. That is why when you're speaking your truth, kindly make sure that it is the truth. Alright, I want to quickly tell you something very interesting about myself. You see where I reside? It's not very far from my village, just about 30 minutes away. But you know what? I don't want to go back to the village. And that's why I'm begging you, please, kindly help me share this video. Your WhatsApp status, some of your contacts are my subscribers. You just don't know. Please help me share this video. Be cool. Thank you. Eshegon. Was. Thank you. Dalu. Dalu is... I need to brush up on my Nigerian languages. Bye-bye.